I woke up on the cold floor of a cargo bay, and I did not know if I was still a princess or just a name on a list of criminals. My hands were bound with a thin metal cord. My royal seal was gone from my wrist. The last thing I remembered clearly was my uncle's voice, calm and cruel, telling the court that I had betrayed the crown. I had not. But truth does not matter much when the person accusing you controls every voice in the room. The guards who dragged me onto this transport ship had once bowed to me. Now they would not even look at me. That hurt more than the cord cutting into my wrists. They left me on a forgotten trade moon at the edge of human space. No guards, no ship, no name, just me, alone, under a sky the color of rust, with nothing but the clothes I wore and a broken royal ring hidden in my boot. I did not know it yet, but the worst part of my exile was still ahead of me. And the man who would change everything was already dying, somewhere close, counting down his last hours. The moon's only settlement was a small human outpost, built from old ship parts and stubborn hope. I walked toward it because I had no other direction to walk in. My royal training had taught me languages, diplomacy, and history. It had not taught me how to survive with empty hands on a world that did not know or care who I used to be. I did not get far before I heard footsteps behind me. 3 men, rough clothes, sharp eyes, the kind of men who are paid to make problems disappear. I understood immediately. My uncle had not just exiled me. He wanted to be certain I never came back. I ran, but I did not know this land, and they did. They cornered me between 2 broken cargo containers, boxing me in with no way out. One of them smiled in a way that made my stomach turn cold. I thought about all the things I had been trained to say to enemies in a royal court, and none of them meant anything here. Words do not stop men who have already decided your fate. That was when I heard a new voice. That's enough. An older human man stepped out from behind a stack of crates. He was thin, pale, and moved slowly, like every step cost him something. His eyes were tired, in a way that went deeper than simple exhaustion, but his voice did not shake at all. The 3 men turned toward him and laughed. One of them said something about how it was not his business, how he should walk away while he still could. The man did not walk away. I don't have anywhere else to be, he said simply, and I'm not in the mood to watch this happen. I did not understand why a stranger would risk himself for someone he did not know. I still do not think the 3 men understood it either. But there was something in his calm voice, something steady and unafraid, that made even them hesitate. He did not fight like a soldier. He was not strong, not fast, but he moved with a strange, quiet confidence, like a man who had already made peace with whatever happened next. He used the narrow space between the containers to his advantage, keeping them from surrounding him, buying time, rather than trying to win outright. It was enough, long enough for the outpost's automated alarm to sound, drawn by the noise. The 3 men cursed and pulled back, melting into the shadows, rather than risk being caught by outpost security. When they were gone, the man leaned against a container and let out a slow breath. Only then did I see how badly his hands were shaking, and how gray his skin looked underneath the outpost lights. "Are you hurt?" I asked. He almost laughed. "Not from that fight," he said. "Come on, let's get you somewhere safer." His name was Daniel. I learned that much as he led me through narrow paths between the outpost buildings, moving slower than I expected, one hand resting against the wall more than once. I asked him why he had helped me, a stranger, an alien with no name he recognized, no reason for him to care. He was quiet for a moment before he answered. "I don't have much time left," he said. "Days, maybe less. There's a sickness in me the doctors can't fix. I made my peace with that a while ago." He glanced at me, and there was something almost gentle in his tired eyes. But I decided I wasn't going to spend my last hours doing nothing. Might as well spend them doing something that matters. I did not know what to say to that. Where I came from, power was measured in bloodlines, armies, and thrones. I had never met someone who measured his life in the choices he made when he had almost nothing left to lose. He brought me to a small room at the back of a supply shop, run by a woman who owed him a favor from years before. She did not ask questions. She gave me water, simple food, and a blanket, and left us alone. I finally let myself sit down, and the weight of everything hit me at once. My throne, my title, my family, who had turned their backs on me without a single word in my defense. I did not cry, because a princess is trained not to, but I came very close. Daniel sat across from me, watching quietly. He did not try to fill the silence with empty comfort. He simply waited, giving me space to breathe. "You're not what I expected," he said eventually. "What did you expect?" "Someone more," he searched for the word, "distant." Royal people back home always seemed like that in the stories. Cold, far away from everyone else's problems. I almost smiled. I was raised to be exactly that, trained to keep my feelings hidden, my judgments sharp, my heart guarded. It made me a good diplomat. It did not make me many friends. Sounds lonely. It was, I admitted. It was strange, saying that out loud to someone I had known for less than an hour, but something about Daniel made it easy to speak honestly. Maybe because he had nothing to gain from my answers. Maybe because a dying man has no patience left for politics or games. I asked him about his life, and he told me simply. He had been a mechanic on this outpost for many years, fixing old ships that came through on long journeys. Nothing glamorous, no medals, no titles, no grand achievements that history would remember. Just steady, quiet work, day after day. "Doesn't sound like much," he said, almost apologizing. "It sounds like more than most people manage," I said. "You spent your life building things instead of destroying them. That is not nothing." He looked surprised by that, like no one had ever put it to him quite that way before. We did not have long to sit and talk. Within the hour, the three men returned, and this time they were not alone. They had brought reinforcements, hired to make sure I did not survive the night. My uncle was thorough, if nothing else. Daniel heard them coming before I did. He moved to the door, and I saw the tiredness in his face deepen, like every step now cost him more than the last. "You should run," I said. "This isn't your fight. You don't owe me anything." "Maybe not," he said, "but I'm not asking permission." He managed a small, tired smile. "Let me finish what I started." He did not fight them directly this time. He was too weak for that, and we both knew it. Instead, he led me through a maintenance corridor only outpost workers would know, one that connected to the old docking bay where cargo ships waited to depart. Along the way, he explained his plan, speaking quickly despite his labored breathing. There was a transport ship scheduled to leave within minutes, heading toward a system far outside my uncle's reach. If I could get aboard before the men caught up to us, I would be safe. "What about you?" I asked. "I'll slow them down," he said. "Buy you the time you need." I stopped walking. "No, I won't let you die for me." He turned to face me, and for the first time, I saw something fierce beneath his tired eyes. "I'm dying either way," he said gently. "The only choice I have left is how. I'd rather it mean something than not." There was no arguing with that kind of certainty. I understood, in that moment, that this was not sacrifice born from duty or reward. It was simply a man choosing, freely and completely, how he wanted his last hours to be spent. We reached the docking bay just as the men closed in behind us. Daniel stood in the narrow entrance to the corridor, the only way through, and looked back at me one last time. "Go," he said. "Don't waste this." I ran toward the ship, my heart pounding, every step feeling like a betrayal, even though I knew it was what he wanted. Behind me, I heard him speaking calmly to the men who had come to hurt us, buying precious seconds, with nothing but steady words and quiet refusal to move aside. I reached the ship as the boarding ramp began to close. I turned back one final time, and through the closing gap, I saw Daniel still standing there, unmoved, unafraid, exactly where he had chosen to be. The ship lifted off before I could see anything more. I do not know exactly what happened after that. I do not know if the men left him alone once I was gone, since I was the only one they truly wanted. I choose to believe, and perhaps it is only comfort I tell myself, that he found some peace in those final hours, knowing he had done exactly what he set out to do. I never learned his full story. I never learned if he had family somewhere, waiting for news that never came. All I have is his name, and the memory of a man who owed me nothing, yet gave me everything he had left. I did reclaim my place eventually. The truth about my uncle's betrayal came out in time, as truth often does. I returned to my house with my title restored and my name cleared. But I was not the same person who had been exiled months before. I no longer measure worth by bloodlines or thrones. I learned that lesson from a dying man on a forgotten moon, who spent his last hours proving that true nobility has nothing to do with birth and everything to do with choice. Sometimes, late at night, I still think of him standing in that corridor, calm and unafraid, giving away the only thing he had left so a stranger could live. I carry that memory with me always. It reminds me what real strength looks like. Not power, not command, just one quiet human, choosing kindness with the little time he had, and making it count more than any crown ever could.